out of the old hairpin.
Oh no!
JC's going to send it? You bet he is. Oh, look at the Aston, just with the nice little battle here. Carrying huge speed through the crater curve.
Aston runs wide and he's in the grass.
Oh, there's a bit of contact.
Oh, almost side by side through there.
Hello everyone and welcome. This is Race on Oz. This is the PS4 League Division. This is Season 6. It's Round 2. We're in Barcelona. My name is Nick and I'm joined once again, as I was a couple of weeks ago, Adman and Jamie. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome back, in fact. How you going tonight?
G'day, Nick. How are you, buddy?
I'm very
Jamie,
good.
How are you?
Adam, Nick, great to be back. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, can't wait.
Well, last round was our first one together, and we got off the call, and we all agreed we thought it went pretty well, and the feedback was that it worked pretty well. How did you guys feel about last time around?
Mate, yeah, 100% right. I thought the feedback was fantastic, and you know, to align it to anything that I've ever had in my life, it was probably like one of my first night at the Blue Light Disco when I was successful.
What about you, Jamie?
Well, we were blessed with a great race as well, so that definitely helped in being able to keep the action free flowing and having a look at the times in practice at the moment. I think we might be in for a cracker again.
All right. Well, speaking of last week, we did have a cracker of a race, so we're not far away from this one. Adman, just a little bit of feedback. If you can turn up your volume, that would be good. All right. Let's have a look at the last race that we had. It was in Kyalami, so Footner once again in a dominating performance for Bruce Hale Racing in that Bentley of his. He took home the victory. Ty Morgo for Pagnian Next Level Racing. He took home P2. And the first podium for Coach Dave Academy in the PS4 division was held by HSV in that trusty Mercedes as well. So that was your podium. Brenticles, someone awesome, the first Selby Acoustics runner, home in P5. Another P&L runner, Eagle, win D-roll in 6th. Sparky God came home in 7th. Gaza was 8th. Sadudes was 9th. And 10th was Fly. So that was your top 10. We had 17 runners last week. We've got a few more than that this week. We've got 20 at the moment. Fellas, what were your thoughts on the race a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, look, I thought it was really good. Obviously, we had Footner that just led right from the start, drove a really, really good race. There was lots of good battles back in behind him, but then, through the pit stops, the mandatory pit stop and tyre change, there was certainly some guys that were looking to come up and try and, get onto the back of Footner, so that looked threatening 3/4 of the way through the race. But yeah, no, I loved it, mate. I thought it was an absolute cracker.
Yep. What were your thoughts, Jamie?
Yeah, and Footner, just playing all of his pace that we've seen through the previous couple of seasons, and took it away from the front, but I was really impressed seeing Ty Morgo up on the podium again. He's got a lot of quality, and HSV as well. Mercedes wasn't as strong around Kyalami, but he still managed to haul it up into the podium places, so some good battles all the way through.
Yeah, it was definitely a decent effort from him. I'm just trying to... There's a little bit of echo there. I'm just trying to fix that up. All right, so that was the round results. Let's have a look at the championship standings. So once again, these are provided by Andrelli. Very interactive. So you can see Coach Dave Academy were doing quite well there. So was P&L. Bruce Hale Racing just bouncing around. They finished in 3rd. So at the moment, as it stands, Coach Dave Academy, the new team on the block, on 244 points. Only 1 point ahead of Pagnian Next Level, always a strong contender, followed just by Bruce Hale Racing. So 4 points covering the top 3 at the moment. So it's super close. 222 to Gamesman Racing Team. And then you got Selby Acoustics just bringing up the P5 there on 214. So we're about 5 minutes away from getting this thing started. Let's have a look at the circuit. Jamie, do you want to let us know a little bit more about the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona?
So we're back at Barcelona. The last time we were here it was raining. This time it mercifully looks dry, so we have a few interesting challenges here. They don't call it one of the best tracks for testing for nothing, because it does have a bit of everything. I think of a key focus though is some of those sweeping long corners, particularly turn 3, 4, 9 and 12, where you really got to have a lot of commitment on the entry to carry as maximum speed as possible through to the apex, and you really got to nail the apex and try and kick you back out of the corner with looking to set yourself up for the next sequence of corners. The big thing here is tyre preservation. So those aforementioned long sweeping corners do take a bit of hit out of your tyres, particularly your left side, your front left. So that can cause a bit of imbalance in grip later on in your stints, where your outside lefts are more heating up more and generating more wear than the right hand side. So that could catch drivers out. And then finally, they should be well versed that this circuit has a lot of gravel traps. So keeping it nice and well within the limits, and also checking that you're not locking up the brakes, particularly going into turn 5, where you can quickly end up going straight ahead and then having to fish yourself out of the gravel.
Beautiful. All right, excellent analysis. And that's what you've got in store for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I know we do have ladies, Fiona Francois, I hope that's how I pronounce it, in the chat there. So welcome also to everyone as well. I hope you enjoyed that circuit analysis. But let's take a look from a driver's perspective, where once again, Adman is going to take us for a lap of the Circuit de Catalunya. Let's jump on board.
G'day guys, here we are again. Round 2, Season 6. We're at Catalunya. We've got total turns of 16, track length 4.67 kilometres long, with long straights and a variety of corners. As we make our way down the main straight, across the start-finish line into turn 1. We want to get onto the green AstroTurf, just brake just before the 100-metre braking board. Turn in early, down into second gear, just clip the curbing there, quick short shift up to third. Make our way around turn 3. You want to bring the nose of the car in if you can, and then drift it out to the left. Make our way up to Repsol or turn 4. Again, getting out onto the green asphalt. We want to hit the brakes just under the bridge there, turn in a little bit earlier than you would normally do it, use the throttle to turn the rear of the car around. Just go through these combination of corners. Bit of a blind corner this one. Down into first gear, straighten it up, power run to the accelerator. So we make our way down into this awkward little combination of corners. Brake a little bit later, late apex, just want to try and miss that curbing if you can. Straight line it up the hill. Into fourth gear, late braking again, late apex turn in, drive out of this corner, and we've got a bit of a back straight as we make our way down into a very tight left-hander, hitting the brakes hard before the 100-metre board. Down into first gear, just want to try and drift it out to the yellow curbing there, cut across this bit of curbing. Now you want to be patient around here too, just let the car go around and then full throttle, power out, into this tricky little combination of the corners. Again, just nice and tight there under the bridge, hit the brakes again through the chicane. If you're going to try and get this right as we drive through the last corner of 16, back onto the main straight, across the start finish line, and that is a lap around Barcelona, Catalunya. Good luck for tonight guys, see you on track.
Alright, so that was a lap of the 16-turn Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona. Adman, give us your thoughts, walk us through it. What more insight can you add to the track?
Well, what I can tell you, Nick, thank you very much for that, and thanks to the guys that have commented. Pesky, appreciate that feedback too, mate. So, Nick, one of the things that I found with this particular track is, there's some of those, as Jamie indicated, with the left-hand front tyre in particular, gets very, very hot. It's about setting your car up and getting the right balance. So especially with the aero balance, the front end grips up, but you're not getting it too much where you get corner exit oversteer. And it's that coming into some of those far long left-handers where you've got to get off the throttle, and it's getting it timed right where you power back out of it, because there's that temptation to continue to throttle through thinking that that's going to be the quickest way, but it's not. So it's about being sensible and making sure that, get off, let the front end grip up, drive through the corner, power out of the corner, get a nice extra speed, and then if you are in behind someone, you capitalise on that as well, because there's some good corners here where you can dive down on the inside without actually making any contact with the car that you're trying to overtake.
And so with those long sweeping corners, does that favour any type of car? Does that favour a front engine, rear engine car? Any thoughts on that matter from either of you guys?
Jamie might be better to answer that one. I'm in the Bentley, so Jamie's in the Ferrari.
I think a lot of it will be setup dependent. So if you made a great point in your video ads about using the oversteer on some of those corners to help flick you out and straighten you up towards the exit. That's really critical for getting through some of those long radius corners, and you've got to be committed on the trail braking coming into it, so that way you can get a nice hit the apex at the best possible speed, and then power out. So yeah, you require a very precise driving style to get through there.
All right, well, we'll see how these guys handle it tonight. There's a minute left of practice at the moment. I think Fiona will be quite happy. Riggsy is in P1 in the Lexus, a 144 flat, so he's looking very good right now. But hello to all of our audience out there as well. I see there's a lot of people who have already liked the stream as well. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. But Andrali's in there, sorry. Arrogance, I hope I pronounced that correctly for you. Sir McSquid, Saint Sim Racing. Who else is in there? Bounty's in there. My favourite, Stu's in there. My favourite Pesky, he's in there as well. Stu's in there. So welcome to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. We hope we can bring you a nice, exciting race. This is the PS4 division. So just to do a little bit of housekeeping, the PS5 update has essentially, what's it done? It's kind of, I don't want to be too negative here, but it's made broadcasting quite difficult. So pretty much where it ended up was you could only broadcast in the, what do they call it, the chase cam. Didn't have any, had no timings on there as well. So we didn't stream round one of the PS5 division, but after a little bit of thought and discussion, we're going to give it a crack next Tuesday. So who knows? We might even get an update where it fixes the broadcast mode. You don't know. So we'll keep your eyes peeled, and we're going to pioneer some stuff next week. So we'll see how we go. But that's the standings after practice. Riggsy at 144 flat, just 3/10 ahead of Footnote HSV there. Crashy mate. That's the scene we've become quite familiar with, gents. Him right up the top there, and can't quite put it together in the race still.
No, not yet. And, we only had round one, so this is round two. I think that maybe this track is a little bit more forgiving with some of the curbs. So even though they can unsettle the cars, there's not the big harsh, like the cheater at Kyalami with that big sausage there that I can't remember who. I think it was Incy said he could ride the sausage, but Crashy can't, but that's probably not a bad thing.
Can I stream from the garage? I'll give it a try, Vic Chan. I haven't played around with it too much. So between now and next Tuesday, I'm going to do some investigation and we'll see what we can come up with. Hopefully it's something decent for you all, because streaming once a fortnight at the moment, it's I feel like I'm getting a bit rusty, but we'll be okay. So do we have any predictions, boys? Do we have any thoughts, feelings otherwise on what might transpire throughout the race this evening?
Look, obviously I'm Team BHR and I want Team BHR to do very well, but I'm also just quietly barracking for Riggsy. So Riggsy had a bit of a bad week last week with the floods and got stranded and got pelted with lots of water and rain and missed out on some special time with his superfan Fiona. So I want Riggsy to do well, and I think that he probably deserves to be right up the front where he is, but I'm still backing 100% with Team BHR.
All right, what about you, Jamie? Any lookouts this evening that we should keep our eye on?
I've been interested to see how the Bentleys fare around here. It isn't typically the strongest circuit for it, so there's a lot of Bentley drivers on the grid, so we'll see which of them can kind of outperform the car. But those times in practice looked so close, and before Riggsy got a few tenths clear of the field, there were only a handful of tenths over 10 or so cars.
Okay, all right, let's ride on board with HSV. Adman, you might want to give us a bit of a rundown, a critique, if you like, of HSV's first flying lap of the circuit. Go for it, sorry.
No worries. So he's coming to turn 1. He has gone out onto the green AstroTurf there. He's coming through nice and clean into turn 3. I've just jumped on board with him. He's just letting the car drift out like we predicted in my hot lap, so he's just going to run it up the green AstroTurf here as well. Nice and deep, under the bridge, hits the brakes. He's kept it in nice and tight here in turn 4. He's just going to find the middle of the track and just let it ease out. Again, this is that difficult corner that I mentioned. It's hard to spot your braking marker, but he's certainly just hugging the inside curb there and just gone out nice and wide. As we come into this next combination, so this is the one we don't want to hit that left-hand curbing, which he's clearly missed it, which is really good. Good exit coming up, brake late past this little curbing, turn in, so it's a late apex. He's just letting the car drift out. I reckon he was probably very close to track limits then, and he's just driving straight into this corner here. He's gone deep. So this is his first real hot lap, but he's still probably going to put down a pretty good time. In practice, as Jamie said, we've seen that he's certainly up there with some of the other guys like Crashin, Footner and Riggsy. So a little bit of extra corner oversteer. Just come through the chicane here. It's just riding over the curb, which is just nice and wide. Flattens this corner out, and we'll see what he posts for his first out lap, so 44.8. So that's a really good first lap for him, but I have no doubts that time will come down for these guys.
Yep. Well, only their first run of the session, so obviously
That's
get a bit quicker as we go on, but a good lap there, which has immediately been surpassed already. So Brenchkel's currently sitting on top at the moment. Let's see what Gazza can do. He goes into P5, so nice result there from Gaz. What about Christopheros? Oh, I don't know. Christopheros? I don't know how to pronounce it. Yes. Do any of you... Clearly, I don't know him. Do either of you guys know Christoph?
I've seen his name pop up recently. I don't know if he's just new, but no, I'm not familiar. I don't recall seeing him on any of the streams that I've been involved with.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how he goes tonight. Crashy, mate. He goes up into P7 for now. So majority of drivers have set their first time. You see K-Man there in P20 in the pit lane. He won't leave the pit lane. He is... he's looking after the lobby tonight, so he's just in there observing. He won't be racing or qualifying. So if you're wondering why he hasn't come out of the pits yet, that's the reason why. As Aaron, he's setting off on his hot lap right now. Kraken, he completes his first one. He ends up in P13 for now. And we've got Someone Awesome. So Someone Awesome and Team Little Bear and Aaron are the 3 drivers yet to set a time. But it's Brenticles, a 1:44.5 ahead of Footner. So very, very close between those two. Seduce, Lukey having a good one. HSV goes to the top of the timetable straight away. So nice work from him. Just waiting for who else was coming through there. Eagle win. So give us your thoughts so far, gents, on what we've seen in the first 5 minutes or so.
Well, I think it's going to be exactly like what we saw in practice. The guys at the top, top 5, top 6, 7 will be the same. Just depends on where they finish. Just interesting watching HSV there, and even though he went to the top, which is now down in 3rd position, but he had a little bit of a couple of ugly corners there, so it wasn't a clean lap for him. So I know that he's got some left in the bank, which will be good to watch. But yeah, look, it's going to be tight. We've got some members there from CDA's 1 and 3 and 5 at the moment, so good showing from those guys. But I reckon it's going to be a good mix of guys with the teams, and it's just going to be exciting.
Yeah. What about you, Jamie? What's your observations so far?
I was also following the HSV lap, and I could tell after watching him in practice that AMG was struggling with a lot of understeer. It looks like he's dialed it out a little bit, but it definitely struggles a little bit more in that department than than the Bentleys. And having a look at Footner, he's a lot more confident about throwing it in and getting on the power, knowing that he's got the grip to get him round fully the corner and not go too wide.
So, quick question just around the sausage curbs around here, especially through the last sequence of corners, sort of 13, 14, 15, 16. Is there any concern going through there, or is it, they're manageable as opposed to what we saw last round in Kyalami?
Nah, look, you've got to be precise. You've got to stay off the curbs. In the last chicane there, those big sausage curbs, if you hit those, it's basically, can turn you around and launch the car. So you definitely don't want to touch those. But even the corners leading up to that as well, Nick, whilst they might not be as harsh in terms of, the way that it presents itself, but at the same time, what it will do is it can still unsettle the car to the point where if you're on it, especially the way that Footner drives as well, what Jamie just said, so he likes to get, have his rear end fishing around all over the place, which I don't, but he does. And, you unsettle the car and it can absolutely contribute to that and make it more pronounced. So that's something that certainly has to be managed.
All right, well, we'll see how it goes once we're in the sort of the heat of battle, if you like. That's when the mistakes can sometimes come. So we'll see how it manages tonight. And K-Man's made a liar of me. He is participating tonight. So I'll stop talking about that from now on. We'll just see how his night transpires. But he's off on his hot lap right now. So we're just over halfway. Right now it's Footner. A 143.9. He's ahead of Crashy Mate, who's just under 2/10 behind him. Riggsy, HSV, Ty Morgo. That's your top 5. Then Sadudes, Brenticles, Eagle Win, Sparky God, and Gazza. That's your top 10 right now. This is round 2 of the PS4 division. This is season 6. My name is Nick, and I'm joined by Adman and Jamie. Hope you're all enjoying the stream out there. And we're looking to set the grid for what we're hoping to be a very exciting race to continue season 6 on.
Definitely exciting, mate. And, for the guys and girls that we've got watching so far, we've got 12 likes so far, so definitely smash that like button. And we did see last in the round 1 with the PS4, we were able to get quite a few likes. And again, that just helps the stream, it helps the league, it helps us get our brand out there. So continue to smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed, well then you need to, because you've got to be part of the fun and the excitement, which is why we're all here. And
I think last time it was pretty much you who drove it, Adman. We got up to about 20 or 30 likes, I think it was. So it was a good effort.
It was 41 by the end of it, I reckon, Nick. But,
41, there you go.
We had a damn good door prize to give away as well. So, that's Jamie doing a nudie run down pit road.
Yeah. Virtual nudie run down.
Yeah, of course.
Down pit road.
VIP viewing only.
$20 a month.
He's only fans account. All right. Here's HSV just making his way through the chicane. There used to be just no chicane through. There used to be one long left-hander. They changed that a while ago just due to safety reasons. I think that happened a fair while ago. I think there's a big shunt in practice or testing at one stage there as well, which caused it. So caused the change. Always good to keep circuit safety in mind. Here's Brenticles though. He's in P7, so that's where he'll remain for now. Who else do we have out there? 6:46. Here's Riggsy. So just under 4.5 minutes remaining. So we're getting down to the business end of the session. Here comes Riggsy, currently in P3, just under 2/10 behind. Doesn't better his best time, so he will remain there on the second row of the grid. Here's Eagle Wind in the Pagnan Next Level Racing. I like the tinge of green in that livery. He remains in P8 as well. So just having a look for other cars out on the circuit. Still very, very busy out there right now. Team Little Bear in the very brightly coloured Honda of his, making his way through now. He's currently P19. That's where he will stay for the time being, but he's got about just under 4 minutes to rectify that. Last time out, the podium getter, Ty Morgo, currently P6 right now. Let's see if he can improve on that time in the dying moments of qualifying. not to be so far. So, who's your pick here, boys? You think Crashy can hold on to this? He's got the gap on Footner right now.
He does, mate. Look, Crashy's a interesting racer. You know, we've watched him for a little bit now, and you know, even the lead up to the season 6, and you know, he's performed very well. But I certainly don't want to call anything this time like I did last round in terms of potentially hitting curbs and dislodging his vehicle from the track, which is exactly what happened. So I do wish him the best of luck. I for one, you know, like I said, I'm Team BHR. I've got green blood, but at the same time, I like to see a race where it's very, very close and very competitive. You know, it's nothing better than seeing guys at this calibre that are fighting for position, and especially for a podium position where they're, you know, right up the back of each other, right in under the spoiler, side by side, whatever it might be, putting pressure on. That's perfect. That's just, you can't even, you know, write that stuff. That's what it is.
Well, funnily you should say pressure. We've got Crashy mate out there right now, and Footnote right behind him. So we're in the dying moments here of qualifying, with just over 2 minutes remaining, a tick over 2 minutes. We're on board here with Crashy mate following his lap. We'll see how he can pan out. If he can retain P1 right now where he sits. Comes through the final turn. He's got Footner right behind him. So we'll see if Footner can unseat him here, or if Crashy Mates goes any faster. Not at this stage. What about Footner? So this will be their final laps. Should be their final laps of this one. They might get one more in depending on how quick they go around, but more than likely will be the last ones. We'll pick them up shortly though.
I think Jamie, you might have spotted it as well. The track temperature, has it gone up just slightly?
I think it did. It started at 29, if I recall.
Yeah. So it's not a lot, but it does make enough of a difference where, you know, if the guys are running the setup that they're running at a higher tyre temperature to, you know, capitalise through, you know, the hot laps of qualifying, that extra degree of track temperature can affect and certainly put the tyres on the other side of, you know, that optimum performance, especially the left-hand front tyre that we've spoken about already a few times. And Crashy's just pulled out of the lap, so putting it still in. But it's it's certainly interesting. Footner's just dumped that one.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like that's, unless Riggsy can come through.
Nah. So Sadudes is the other one. He's currently in P4. So Crashy mate right now, he is currently on pole position. So we've become familiar with seeing him up at the front in qualifying. We'll see if it can pan out in the race for him, because it's yet to do so.
I'm
far.
just on board with Riggsy now, Nick, and he's just started his next lap. So there's every chance that, you know, there's an opportunity where he could certainly better his time and position.
Well, we'll ride home with Sadudes, or Lukey as he's often known as, and then we might catch up with Riggsy as well and see how he's going on his lap. But it doesn't look like Sadudes will surpass his time. No, he won't, as the clock goes 000. Just having a look for Riggsy now, just coming up through out of 7th through 8 into the right-hander of Nice, the fast-flowing right-hander of 2-9, a camper as it's often referred to. But right now, it's looking like Crashy mate is on target for pole position. I can't get on board with Riggsy to see what time he's got. So we'll just have to wait until he crosses the line like everyone else to see.
I'm on board with him. He's 1/10 behind his quickest at the moment. So if he gets it right through this next couple of corners, which is so close.
Yeah.
Well, he's just, he caught the curb, so he's just pulled out.
Okay. Alright, so that's qualifying pretty much done. Crashy has taken home a pole position, so congratulations to him. Footner, he will begin the race in P2. Then you got Riggsy, he's going to start on the second row of the grid in P3. Sadude, so good result there for him in P4. HSV, he's going to start in 5th position. Ty Morgo will begin the race on the third row of the grid in P6. Brenticles, he is going to start the race from P7. In 8th, it's Gaz. That's where he's going to begin. P9 is someone awesome. I'd say keep an eye on him from P9. He might be a sneaky little contender tonight. Eagle Wind, he will begin in P10. Then we get in 11th, we've got Sparky God as well. So look for a fast start from him at the beginning of this race. Stanhouse is going to start 12th. Then you've got Christoph, the man with lots of X's at the start and end of his name in P13. 14th is Psycho Agency. Aaron in 15th. Kraken down there in 16th spot. So he's got a bit of work to do. K-Man ended up qualifying in 17th position. White Shadow, he's going to start the race there from 18th position. Team Little Bear, he'll begin from 18th. And then Familiar GTR is going to bring up the rear of the field beginning in P20. We are going to go to a quick little ad break, if you like. We'll be back very, very shortly. So thank you very much to our sponsors. Gents, what did we think about qualifying? Give us your thoughts.
Well, from me, Nick, it's like I said, it's very, very close at the top there. We've got a good mix of manufacturers, good mix of teams. We've got some very close racing that's about to occur, and I think that coming off the formation lap, there's going to be a bunch of cars that are heading down to turn 1. In the past, I've seen where it can get a little bit hairy down there with everyone coming in hot on the brakes. Hopefully everyone warms their tyres up through the formation lap and we can get through there cleanly and have a good race and no one gets taken out accidentally.
Yep, spot on. And what about you, Jamie?
I think it's going to be really, really close. You've got some of the seasoned veterans, Ty, Brenigals and Gazard just hanging outside of the top 5, but they weren't that far away, so they'll be looking to capitalise on any mistakes from the top 5 drivers. Just also wanted to shout out Stanhouse, who I believe is the top runner in the silver class, so well done to him.
Good work to Stanhouse there in the Ferrari. Just let us know if you could hear the engines. I've got it up to 100%, but I got a message saying that you might not be able to hear any car audio. So hopefully, maybe that's an isolated incident. Hopefully. So we're less than a minute away from getting this one started. Arrogance. I still can't hear Ads or Jamie properly. All right. So
I've got my microphone at 100%. So yeah. I'm thinking maybe it might be
on
at your end.
Yeah. Yep.
Even your end too, Nick. So I'm not sure.
Let me have a quick...
I am talking quite loudly into my microphone.
I've got voice chat turned up full. Alright, so... see if we can do that on the fly, but hopefully that's a little bit better. Alright, so we're less than 30 seconds away from getting this one started. This is round 2, season 6. This is Race on Oz. This is the PS4 division. My name's Nick, and I'm joined by Adman and Jamie. And we are about to take you through The 60 minutes of Circuit de Catalunya. I can't hear car audio. Oh man, what is going on? Audio up 100%. Alright, I don't know. That's up 100% as well. Let us know if I can hear ads, but it's a bit quieter than Nick. Let us know if anyone else.
What's going on there, mate? It's a bit strange, but hey, while I've got the opportunity, I just want to do a quick couple of shout outs too. So big shout out to Gaza. So Gazza's mum's really sick at the moment, and I know that that's a lot of his time spent thinking about what's going on there. So our thoughts and prayers just to your mum, mate, looking at making sure that she's okay. And another big shout out too, so to a good mate that's doing it a bit tough at the moment. If you're listening in, good luck. Stay strong, buddy. We look forward to when you can come back, and love to see you on track. So take care.
All right. So just on the warm-up lap here, we're with Sadudes. That's where we ended with earlier. So hopefully this audio situation is sorted out. If not, I don't know how much we can do about it right now. But everything, as you can see, is turned up to 100. So not too sure what's happening, but yeah, hopefully we can get through. So Jamie, what are your thoughts on the what's the important things to remember getting a good start around here?
Well, as usual, tyre warm-ups key, and you can see everyone trying to generate the heat in the tyres, getting those tyres up to temperature evenly as well. You know, we talked a little bit about prior to qualifying how there's an imbalance in the tyre wear coming through those long right-hand bends on the left-hand side of the car. So managing that is probably the most important thing, and then otherwise, yeah, just getting your reaction times, getting ready for the green light to go, and being the first on the loud pedal when the light goes green.
All right, well, we are not very far from getting this one underway. I've got a few more people who said no car sound as well, so I apologise. I don't know what is happening here. I've got everything turned up that needs to be, so yeah, I'm not too sure what's happening. So my apologies for that.
Sorry, Nick. Someone's just put a comment saying maybe the party audio is too far to the chat, not the game. And because you're the owner of the
there
chat.
we go. That might be. Yes. Whoever said that, you're a genius.
That was from where it's so easy. Where it's so easy is
yeah.
Put that in.
Yeah. Well, where it's so easy, you are an absolute legend. Because even for me, that sounds a lot better for me. So hopefully that's fixed it, and just in time too, because we are about. Yeah. Can hear the sound slightly. We'll try and. Yeah, much better. Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Where It's So Easy. You made it so easy for us. We appreciate it. Here we go. So 60 minutes of... there it is. Let's go racing. 60 minutes of Barcelona is underway. Looks like we got a good start from everyone there. Sadudes going deep into turn one. It's Crashy Mate leading the way. Footner, Riggsy's in there as well. HSV going to go up the inside. A little bit of contact there at the rear of the field. Riggsy almost goes around. He dies. It's one of the Selby Acoustics Racing. That's someone awesome. And I think it might be Eagle Wind D-Roll. It is. So the two Bentleys have collided at turn two. So it's disaster for both of those drivers right now as the timing screen's figuring itself out. But more importantly, Crashy Mate has made his way ahead nice and cleanly. He's got a nice little lead there already on Footner. HSV in P3 there, giving chase to Footner as they make their way up through 6 and 7 for the first time this evening. What did you see, guys, from the start there?
Yeah, so certainly coming down the front straight there, 3 cars wide. You know, Riggsy got a nice run there on the outside on turn 1, and then which put him in a position on the inside of Footner into turn 2, and basically there was no real race room there, and they've made contact, and Riggsy's just gotten a little bit unsettled. But you know, in amongst all that commotion, and Jamie pointed out before, you know, with Brennicles and Ty Morgo outside of the top 5, and look where they are now, position 4 and 5. So, you know, a couple of guys there that are seasoned drivers that have just hung back and just let everyone else play, you know, and throw the toys out of the sandpit at the front there, and they've just come up through and capitalised.
All right, here we go. So this is the end of lap 1. It's Crashy Mate leading the way from Footner, HSV, Ty Morgo. I think Riggsy was just trying to get a toe there from the Audi of Gaz there in 8th and 9th. But other than Someone Awesome and Eagle Wind at the beginning, we've had a pretty clean start for the rest of these guys. And Riggsy just was the other one who got caught up. But could tonight be the night, boys? Could we see Crashy Mate convert? He's already got over half a second gap between him and Footner. Very, very early days, but I think he might be breathing just a little bit of a sigh of relief that he's got it off the line all right. Still got it all ahead of him, but tonight might be the night that he gets a good result. We'll keep an eye on him as we go along, but so right now we're on board with Gazza and Sparky God, with Riggsy closely following them. Jamie, what have you seen so far?
So it was a really good opening lap from Crashy, I agree, and but Footner's not letting him get away, so we'll see how these next laps transpire. HSV is again battling with a P&L Bentley. This time it's Brenticles with Ty Morgo in behind him. So hoping HSV's got a nice race set up on that Merc, and we can see a bit more pace, and he can keep challenging for the top 3.
Well, speaking of challenging, here's Riggsy. He's having a little bit of a look there at Gazza as they're making their way up through 11 and 12 now. The long sweeping right-hander, and as both of you have pointed out throughout the broadcast already, there are a lot of long sweeping turns around here. Now, there's only one pit stop required. There is tyres required. Jamie, do you want to say something?
Nope, it wasn't me,
No?
but I might actually chime in and just make a quick word on Stanhouse, who was the leader of the Silver Class in qualifying. Must have had an issue in that first lap kerfuffle. He's now last.
Yeah, and Psycho may just take that last position away from him. He got caught out by the sausage curbs just coming through 14 and 15, so he might find himself all the way down. I think he will. Stanhouse, there he goes. So he drops all the way down to the bottom. But in the meantime, up in P3 and P4, it's Brenticles and HSV going at it as they make their way into turn 4. Brenticles trying to get the move done there. I think he has.
He's mate. Yep.
Yeah, he's managed to slip past the Mercedes of HSV and move the P&L Bentley up into P3. What did you think of that move, man?
Yeah, no, that was really good. Brennicles, and it was clean, but the other smart piece of that was that HSV was well aware that, you know, Brennicles is on the move, so better to maybe just let him pass rather than fight him, and you know, penalise themselves in terms of track time, and jump in behind him and try and catch up to the guys that are up ahead of him.
All right, well, we'll see how this pans out. Looks like Brenticles just able to just keep that little gap between him and HSV. In the meantime, this is Sparky God, Gazza and Riggsy. This trio of cars starting to scrap it out. We saw this in Kyalami as well. Just guys fighting with each other, letting other drivers just rear up on the back of them and take them for position while the other guys are scrapping in front. So Gaz, maybe just that rear end just drifting out a little bit there. Runs pretty deep through there. This Lexus is all over him. We know the Lexus has got the toe, that big V8 up the front straight. Let's see if he can duck into the slipstream and get past that Audi of Gazza for Bruce Hale Racing as they make their way up the long straight. I think it's almost a kilometre, the front straight at Barcelona. But I don't think the Lexus is going to have enough legs in it. It's not. Oh! Closes up. Yeah.
I've noticed that, so Riggsy seems to have settled down a little bit now, but I was on him there after he had his off and his altercation there with Footner, which looked like a racing incident, but some of the corners that he was taking is very, very aggressive. I dare say that he was probably a little bit heated under the helmet there for a lap or two, and hopefully he's just settled down, but I reckon right now he'd be quite frustrated knowing that he had a really good starting position. And Gazza's definitely not an easy guy to get around, so he just wants to be smart. Just tuck in behind and just make the move when you can, but don't put yourself at risk of going up the back end of someone and turning someone around and ruining your race.
Yeah, definitely. And we're 7 minutes into it at the moment, so plenty of time left in this one. So they're going to continue their little scrap. In the meantime, it's Crashy Mate. He's pulled out almost a second gap between him and Footner right now. He's in P2. Brenticles is 3 seconds behind him. He's got HSV right on his hammer there, as well as Ty Morgo. So between 3rd, 4th and 5th is extremely tight between those guys. And then Lukey's having a good result down there in P6. So he's had a good clean start. He's getting in his rhythm, as you can see there, just at the foreground there, as these 3 cars once again come through the final stages of the lap. Let's see if Riggsy might be able to get a run here, as the pack still it's started to spread out. There's little packs that have started to form amongst them. This is Gazza looking to make a run on the Audi. Sparky just getting on the grass there a little bit, just seeing where he started in P11 up to 7th already. So he's a bit of a mover and shaker to begin with this one.
Yeah, Gazza's definitely hot on his tail, and he's got his measure at the moment, I think. So he certainly will be sizing him up for a pass. But just watching Footner before, so Footner's in unfamiliar territory at the moment. He's not generally in second position or below. He's always in first position. And I know before the race start tonight, he was a little bit nervous. So some of his comments that he was making through Discord, he puts it, like I said last round, he puts a lot of pressure on himself and wants to do the best that he can, which we all do. But so I have no doubts that chasing Crashy around right at the moment will be putting Footner in a position where he doesn't have a free track in front of him. He's following, and it's something that he's going to have to learn and go. But like, we've got 51 minutes of racing to go. He's got plenty of time to do that.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, you're obviously one of the fastest guys in the league. Adman, you're no slouch yourself, but Jamie, you've obviously had a lot of experience running at the front of the field. What's the mind shift when you're usually sort of in front and you're chasing someone for a change? Or maybe Jamie's just...
I think we've lost Nick.
We have, I think.
I'm here.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. Here we go. So here's Footner trying to make a move. Send it down the inside at turn 1. I was going to say, Jamie, what's the mindset shift when you're usually running at the front, but you're chasing a car instead? How do you kind of handle it?
You really need to look at your opposition's strengths and weaknesses. So, as Adam said, you got to have that patience and then study what the driver ahead is doing, where they're making little mistakes, where they're having a few problems getting out of a particular corner, and see where you can take advantage of it, and then pick your moment. Yeah. And then when you do it, you make sure you commit to it and not do a half effort pass, because that's where it tends to end up in an accident. So the smart driver following can definitely have a good outcome.
All right, well, we'll see how Footner handles that, because Adman made that good observation where he's usually out in front, but he's chasing Crashy Mates quite close at this stage. We've got plenty of time left, though. We've just gone a tick over 10 minutes. And as I was saying before, there's only one stop in these races this season, just to try and spice up the racing a little bit more and keep the action on track rather than making moves in the pits. And we can see here Cameron Footner all over the back of that Audi now. So it's a rear-engine car versus a front-engine car. Looks like he's got a couple little battle scars there on the left-hand side of Footner's Bentley there. So might have just come in contact with someone or something along the lines.
Courtesy of Riggsy, turn 2, lap 1.
Yep, there we go. Thank you very much, Adman. I did see that, but I didn't recall it. So thank you very much. And what have we got? Track conditions. Still 31 degrees track, 24 degrees air temperature. So no dramas there. We might just quickly step away, because here's Riggsy. He's all over Gaza right now. That was coming out of 1 and 2. Looks like he lost a little bit of time there, but had to go at the end of the straight. So he wound that big V8 up. Looks like he got close enough to make a lunge, but not come off in favour of him. But he's still facing the right way. That's the main thing. And I'm sure he'll recoup it back up and have another crack at Gaz.
Yeah, again, like I said, I think with Riggsy, he's just, really pushing hard. So you can just see some of the corner exits just going a little bit wider than probably the preferred line. The risk that he's got too is because he's chasing and getting so close, is he's just got to watch out for track limits, especially where he's coming up to now. So this right-hander with a late turn in on exit, which he's held it nicely through there, but that is definitely a spot where a track limit can occur. And I think when you're pushing as hard as what Riggsy is right now, that's a risk, and that's part of what you're playing with. But right now, Gazza is doing a absolutely stellar job to be able to hold it up there, putting pressure on Sparky God at the same time as getting pressure from Riggsy from behind. Again, that's just an example of what a good race driver looks like.
Alright, so we're just having a look at Gaz now. He's giving chase to another Audi. Sparky got it. Still, Crashy Mate out in front. 4/10 in the lead. We'll see if Footner's able to make any ground on him. No, he's not. So we'll quickly go back to Gaz, see if he can make a move on Sparky. No, he can't. Looks like Riggsy can't make any ground up either. Here's Ty Morgo having a look at HSV, though. He's all over the back of the Mercedes driver, the Coach Dave Academy driver. In fact, he scored a podium last round out. I think he scored P3. Ty Morgo was in P2. So these two, no strangers to the top of the tables as they make their way through the turn 4, the long right-hander, the sweeping right-hander. And what's your thoughts so far, Jamie, on where the race is at?
I think we've seen, a lot of close battles. You got, as you mentioned earlier, Nick, you got a few tight battle packs there that are forming, and it's interesting to see some of the drivers. Passing is still quite difficult. You've got that long straight into turn 1, but that exit in the last corner, because it's such a fast corner, it can be a little bit difficult to follow. I know these aren't Formula heavy aero cars, but there is still definitely aero wash that the drivers need to deal with, and so it's actually not the easiest place to pass.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not a track that's renowned for its overtaking. That's for sure. They've obviously made some modifications to it for the Formula One cars this season, but yeah, obviously not in this game right now. As we see the making their way through the last part of the lap now. Let's see if Ty can get a little bit of a move on here, close up the gap. I'm not too sure if they're making ground on Brenticles right now. Might have a look at times. Brenticles a 45.3, a 45.5, a 45.8, 45.6, 45.7. So all in the 45s, just a couple of tenths separating those boys.
Yeah, so they're not making ground on Brenticles, and Brenticles is certainly not making any ground on Cameron Footner at the moment. So, there could be a little bit of a team game here. Brenticles is in a perfect position to probably just back up just a fraction and let Ty just put some pressure on HSV from a team perspective. But how that happens and when that occurs, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's something that they discuss pre-race, but I know with these guys, especially under the captaincy of Ty Morgo, they do a lot of practice together as a team, and they're a very tight group, so there's every chance that could happen.
All right. Well, they might. Well, if they're in a party chat, that's going to be a lot easier for them as well. So we'll see how that does pan out. But that's some great observations, Ad man. I'm loving your input as well as you, Jamie. I hope all the viewers are appreciating it as well, watching the stream right now. But a quarter way through the race, and currently it's Crashy Mate. It's all going to plan for him. He's in P1, Footner in P2, Brenticles. He rounds out the podium right now. HSV and Ty Morgo, they're in 4th and 5th. Then you got Lukey in 6th, Gazza, Riggsy, Sparky, and K-Man has worked himself up into P10. And we've got Familiar GTR. He's in the pits right now. And Aaron is the other driver who's completed his one and only stop. It's all for tyres. There's no fuel stops in this division anymore unless they want to take it on, but mandatory tyre stop. Mitchell Weston, Wheezy Weston, my man, how you going? Welcome. He says they're
Here we go. Oh, sorry, Nick.
That's
that
all
was
right.
so close then. Ty Morgo just poked it up the inside of HSV. Then I thought he was going to commit to that.
Well, Wheezy just confirming that Brenticles and Ty Morgo are definitely in a party chat. So there you go, Adman. We'll see if the team game plays out as this one unfolds. But past the quarter-way mark. And yeah, this is sort of all steady as she goes right now. It's kind of settled down into a nice rhythm as it is at the moment.
Yeah, mate, you're right. It's going very well. I reckon some of these guys right now would be sitting there at their homes in their race setups, sweating bullets. This is certainly not just a walk in the park so far. Some of these guys are on the edge, and with this amount of pressure, with quite a few laps, 9 laps in, it's certainly it wouldn't just it'd be a workout for sure. So really happy that it's close like this. Actually super wrapped that we've got Bentleys up in the top 10 like they are. That's what I'm driving next week, and the times that these guys are doing, I'm not even anywhere near close to that. So that's a bit frightening in itself, but I haven't done a lot of practice yet. I'll have to commit to that sometime this week and weekend before next Tuesday.
Well, plenty of motorsport going on, so it might keep you a bit distracted this week, Adman. The Grand Prix makes its return to Albert Park. Very exciting.
For that too. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm definitely visiting on Friday, that's for sure. Hard to get a ticket this year.
Really?
Yeah, I could only get Friday tickets. I like going on the Friday rather than on the weekends. But here we go. Here's Eagle Wind. He's got a nice toe on K-Man, who's worked himself up from P17. And looks like Eagle Wind's going to be able to just squeak past the Selby Acoustics racing driver K-Man, who I thought wouldn't be racing tonight, but he is. So they swap spots. So Eagle Wind moves himself up into P10. K-Man drops down into P11. So still at the front there. It's just under half a second between Crashy Mate and Footner. This has been a good battle. Jamie, have you been catching any of it as we've been going along?
They're trading similar times, Crashy and Footner. So it's really... They're pushing quite hard, but they're still able to pull away from that Brenticles HSV time or go back. Ty just fell away a little bit there. I think he had a bit of a mistake. We obviously saw Brenticles get by HSV a bit earlier in the race, but HSV is still sticking with him, so that's good to see from him. And he might be thinking about pit stop window and what he can do there.
All right, well, they're about to cross the line shortly, so we will check out the times at the moment. So Crashy Mate's still just leading you through. He's got Aaron, who's just recently pitted in the Aston Martin, the only Aston Martin in the field. So we'll check out the times as they come through now. Aaron pulling well out the way there. Good driving from him. A 48.4, a 44.8 to Crashy Mate. Footner, a 44.1, sorry. So yeah, Footner starting to push there a little bit quicker on that last lap than Crashy Mate. So we've seen it already. It's not an easy place to pass, and I'm sure Crashy Mate will be trying to make that Audi as wide as he possibly can to prevent that Bentley from slipping through as we're about to approach third race distance. So 20 minutes in the books of this one, round 2 of season 6, and yeah, so far it's steady as she goes. That's the only way I can really sort of think of it right now. Hasn't been too much action, but hasn't been too much silliness either, which you love to see.
Yeah, just on board with Crashy and Footner. What I've noticed just on the exit of this lap now onto the main straight. So Crashy took a fair bit of the curb on turn 16 over the yellow ripple strip there and the little sausage. I just watched the suspension of his car, bouncing around a fair bit. And that's the sort of thing that Footner's looking for. So, from a backseat perspective, he's watching every single move that Crashy's making, and yes, he's making his car as wide as possible, but at the same time, he's using every inch of the road, and if not every inch, he's using inches and more. So, he's just sitting back. I have no doubts. We've got the track temperature was at 30 degrees. It went up to 31, which is what Arrow also picked up on as well. And I've just noticed that it's gone back down to 30. So Footner's right up the back end of this Audi, just about attached to the rear spoiler, and he's pulling out just ever so slightly. He just doesn't quite have the legs. As Crashy goes defensive down the inside line here. And Footner's just holding his nerve. He's just making Crashy work for his position, which is absolutely perfect.
And just as you were describing that, Adman Riggsy, he's picked up a drive-through penalty.
Aha.
So it might have been for track limits, possibly, I believe.
I would say so.
Yeah. So we've had our first victim. You don't often see that though, but this is a track that I think you mentioned it before. It can be a little bit susceptible to it around here.
Well, it can, yeah, it's 100%. But when you start in the position that Riggsy started and you lose it on the first corner and drop right back, you know, the steam would have been coming out of the ears for sure. And you know, looking at the body language of the car, and his racing line was certainly well outside of where he would like to be. And you know, that's through desperation of trying to, you know, recoup and get some positions back. So unfortunate that that's happened for Riggsy. I'm sure that Fiona's watching and she'll give him a nice big hug when he finishes racing, so everything will be fine.
Alright, so we're watching this battle between P1 and P2. It's Crashy Mate in the Audi, leading from Footner. Footner definitely letting him know that he's there though, making his presence felt right now as they make their way through the final little sequence of turns here. Let's see if he can wind the Bentley up, try and catch a tow here from the Audi in front. Maybe have a look down the inside of turn 1. The Audi looks like it's got a fair bit of tow on it though. Reaching over 250 clicks here. And yeah, nowhere near enough unfortunately for, definitely not close enough for Footnote to launch a sensible attack anyway. And he's going to have to duck in behind Crashy Mate again to follow him for at least another lap at this stage. As we approach the halfway mark, what are we thinking for pit window here, boys? We've seen that sort of 25 to 35 minute mark of the race tends to be where the action happens. We've got a couple of guys in the pits now, but we think that's probably going to be what we'll see tonight as well.
Yeah, I think definitely, Nick, 100%. But you know, this is also critical too, because you want to try and pit when the pit lane's not full of other cars, because that's where you lose your time. So if you come into your pit box and you've got someone else sitting in front of you, or you know, or in front of your box or behind your box, you know, to try and drive your car into the pit box 100% perfect, lift up and do the pit stop is critical to, you know, maintaining a track position or losing track position. So I think that you know, you either pit a little bit earlier than halfway, or this is my personal opinion, you pit a little bit earlier or you pit a little bit after, and try and get in clean, get out clean, and just have nice clean tyres.
Yeah, right. Well, I think HSV said that last round as well, that he was a little bit distracted when he came into the pits. There was someone else in there, sort of put him off a little bit. So that's a good point that you make there, Adman, as we watch Crashy Mate, a 45.21, a 45.27 from Footnote. So almost identical times there from those two, as there's other boys coming across the line in the following positions as well. So 35 minutes remaining. This is the battle for P1. At the moment, it's between Cameron Footner and Crashy Mate. This is his best race so far, at least what I've seen in Ruse. He's got it all to do, though, with more than half distance left. In this one, he's got Cameron Footner, who's going to push him all the way to the very end. I'm just having a quick little squiz down there. K-Man doing well. So started in P17. And we've lost a couple. I'm just trying to think who they might be. I think Team Little Bear's still in there. Familiar. I think we've lost Familiar. And Psycho Agency. There you go. So we've lost 2. We're down to 18. Sparky, his wheel has crashed.
You're kidding.
Yeah, he's out there now.
Bad luck, Sparky. Yeah. I know Familiar too, last round he had some internet issues, which is unfortunate. And I don't know if that's got anything to do with all the floods that have been going on in New South Wales and Queensland, if that's where he is. But certainly, you know, it can affect that. But Yeah, it's crappy when that happens. You know, you put all this effort into practicing, and you know, you look forward to the night, and then you have technical issues. And we saw that with Vic Chan last week when lap 1, he had his pedal issue where his throttle stuck 100% and banged into the side of the Jamie. I don't know how the hell you survived that, Jamie, to be quite honest. So I was a backseat observer to that, and credit to you for holding on, mate. You must have had your seatbelts on, but you know, it happens to the best of us, and it happens to anyone, unfortunately.
Yeah. Just a part of sim racing, unfortunately. So the pit stops are starting to filter in. White Shadow's in there. Aaron's in there again. So that might not be scheduled. And Sadu's one of the top 10 runners making his stop right now. So starting to come into that pit window. But it's still these two. We're putting on a cracking battle. That's we don't need to tell you how what the time difference is between them. You can see it on the screen. So Footner putting all types of pressure on Crashy, mate. Can he just absorb it up like a sponge and keep on trucking on? Or is Footner going to force a mistake from him? Or even Footner make a mistake in chasing as well. You know, you can sometimes sort of jump at shadows and maybe go for a gap that's not actually there and you desire to get past. It's going to be interesting to see from here, you guys.
Yeah, look, Crashy is doing an absolutely brilliant job so far. You know, like we've called before, he's had some inconsistencies with his driving, and it's not necessarily always his fault. But this is top level driving from him, and I for one would not want to be in his shoes right now, especially having a green Bentley that far up my backside, but then also knowing that the driver behind the steering wheel was Cameron Footner. You know, I'm watching these guys. I mean, I apologise to the other racers here tonight, but right now this is where the party is, so we're hanging with these guys. But you know, Cameron's coming into some of these corners, and you know, he's getting on throttle oversteer on corner exit, which, you know, at some point in time he's got to lift just slightly as well, but he doesn't even look like he dropped off any time, which, you know, this corner too gets a little bit of oversteer. It has done for the last few laps. That one there's clean, but just absolute credit to these guys for the performance that they're putting in. Crashy's just gone a bit wide, but no, he's mate, this is brilliant.
Yeah, it's great stuff from both these drivers, and their previous lap times there were almost identical too. So I think it was 300ths of a second separating them both. So both of these guys pushing extremely hard right now, and this is for the highest positions, P1 and P2. And here we go, boys. We've got plenty of action happening in the pits. Look at this, Eagle wins in there. We've got K-Man, Kraken, who I was going to point out is having a great race tonight so far as well. So a newcomer to the league. Good to see him doing very well. Finds himself in P9. He started in P16, so he's made good progress. Sparky God's in there. Stanhouse. So it's all starting to filter through. Someone awesome. Riggsy, White Shadow, and Saduds. They've all made their stops. Oh! That is Footner. Yeah. Footner just getting way loose at the back of that Bentley there. I'm not too sure if you guys caught that. I don't. Yeah. And that's what we said. So, you know, his corner exit oversteer, albeit that it's small, but it will be contributing to his tyre temperatures going up, and obviously tyre wear. Now, I don't know what canvas he's running or anything like that, but that's exactly the brake that Crashy needs, and he would have seen that in his mirrors, and he's thinking right now that you know, this is my opportunity to continue on and pull away from Footner as he comes into some lap traffic. And we've got Eagle win with a stop-go. Yeah. So he's obviously sped in the pits. Yeah, so unfortunate for him. Completed his stop, but he's copped the penalty afterwards. So he'll have to serve that. It's going to put a massive dent in his race. And I think that's K-Man out in front of Cameron Footner now as well. So I don't think he's necessarily lap traffic at the moment. He just finds himself there and he gives the position up straight away. So nice driving there from the Selby Acoustics driver as Brenticles, he makes his way into the pits as well. So one of the front runners there, pitting from P5. He started in P7, so he's had a great start to this one. But the whatever was affecting Cameron Footner doesn't look like it's repeated so far. What are we thinking, Jamie, after you make a little mistake like that? How do you kind of mentally get back in the zone again and just sort of become a bit of a goldfish and try and forget about it?
Yeah, the first thing that you want to do is not pay too much attention to your delta there, and just look at, calming your nerves a little bit, and just trying to make sure that those next few corners that you hit, you nail them nice and consistently. I think we've talked before on the commentary about how mistakes can sometimes compound in multiple times, and you start making them more often. And the key thing is sometimes just take a bit of a breath and then resettle yourself and go again. And I think that's what Cameron's done at the moment. A quick word, so while all that action was happening, as Footner comes into the pits.
Yep. And so does Crashy.
Yep.
Well, we might follow this. We'll just see if they hit their marks. Doesn't look like he got it all slowed up in time. Here comes HSV as well, so he's potentially responding to that. We'll see what Ty Morgo does if he continues on. Looks like he is. Let's just keep up with these guys to see. There's Gaza coming in, so Ty's going through. Looks like it's a clean stop there from Crashy, clean stop from Footner as well. So it's going to be a race out the pits. What were you saying there, Jamie? I cut you off, sorry.
So, yeah, I was just going to say, HSB did actually manage to get ahead of Brenticles on track before Brenticles dove into the pits. So
yep.
We'll see if HSB can retain that.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, Ty Morgo, he stayed out. He's got Riggsy for company in the Lexus. Riggsy down in P13 though, so I'd say that's a lapped car right now after the adventures, if you like, that Riggsy's had this evening.
It's a slow stop for Footner.
Yeah, I was going to say he's still in there, and Crashy Mate looks like he's got a little bit of a gap there. Yeah, and there comes Footner. So maybe something went wrong. HSV, out he goes, and Gaza is on his bike as well. So that's the majority of the field have completed their stops now. We're just waiting on Ty Morgo, Christoph, and Team Little Bear. And Eagle Wind does need to serve his stop-go penalty, which I think he's doing right now. And Sparky and Aaron are both in there. So I'm not too sure if that's terminal for those two. But, only 3 more cars yet to go to serve their one and only mandatory pit stop of this one.
Yeah, well, Sparky's wheel crashed, as he indicated through the chat. So, condolences to him for that outcome. But with Footner coming into the pits, like we described, while we practice a lot on track and we try and get fast times to get a good position for qualifying, equally is important is to also practice your pit stop entries. Dropping it into the box there and getting it precise is the difference between losing, no seconds to the person that you've come in with to losing up to 5 seconds if you get it wrong. It can make a huge difference, and that's potentially what could have happened with Footner. But Crash is doing everything right at the moment. He's got just a tiniest little bit of a gap over Footner, so a bit of breathing room, doing a really good job. And the other thing I noticed too, guys, and Jamie, you probably picked up on this as well. So these guys have pitted post the 30-minute mark, and whilst I think it was at the 27 minutes to go, as they've come into pit lane, the pit road was not quiet. It was actually quite busy with other cars. So that can be a little bit of a off-putting moment as well.
Close for Ty Morgo and HSV coming out of the pits.
Having a look at that, and it's going to be extremely close between those two. Here's HSV with a full head of steam. They're going to go side by side through turn 1. They're going to do the same again through turn 2, make a little bit of contact there. Runs Ty Morgo a little bit wide. They're going to go side by side again through the right-hander of turn 3. This is great action between these two. Ty Morgo on the fresh tyre, on the brand new tyres though, so they're going to take a little bit of time to get up to pressure and temperature. HSV still scrapping with him. They're still going this battle here between these two. This is for 3rd and 4th. Ty Morgo sends it down the inside now. Makes a little bit of contact there. Ty Morgo's able to continue on with it though and take that position back. At this stage, his tyre should almost be up to pressure and temperature. So he should be all right here. It's an opportunity lost for HSV, but that was elbows out for all the marbles there, that racing between those two.
Well, that was very courageous by Ty Morgo there, and I have no doubts HSV will not be happy with that, because that was from the pit exit to those first few corners. Those guys are side by side, and HSV is on warm tyres where Ty Morgo wasn't. And he's certainly muscled his way through there, and I have no doubts that HSV will be lining it up over the next couple of laps.
Yeah, here we go. So this has opened up the opportunity for Brenticles as well in the P&L. So he's in a bit of a sandwich right now. HSV in that Mercedes. We're going to see some team tactics between the two Pagnin Next Level Racing boys. We'll have to wait to see. In the meantime, HSV trying to duck in as close as he can to that big Bentley. Get a nice slipstream. This time Morgo going defensive. Going to make him go around the outside. I don't think that's going to perturb him too much though. HSV says, oh, if that's what I've got to do, that's what I've got to do. Oh, his Brenticles as well, just sneaking up on the back of them as well. So HSV in a very precarious position right now. He is set to keep one eye at the front, one eye at the back, and Brenticles now having a bit of a look. He's made HSV go quite defensive there, so this is a very precarious position all three of these guys are in, especially HSV being the fly in the ointment, the only Coach Dave Academy driver. He doesn't have any of his buddies here for help right now. These two P&L drivers will be looking to gang up on him and try and take advantage, and it's all contributing towards the championship as well. These guys are all in contention right now. This is great racing between these guys.
Oh, it sure is, Nick, and really good calling too, Jamie, to pick us up on that as Ty was coming out of the pits. But you know what's happening right now is with HSV, he's trying to force Ty Morgo on a mistake, and he's going off his racing line. But then what that's doing is allowing Brenticles to come in. So he has to be really careful that he doesn't trip over himself here. And you know he's right on the back of Ty. And you know this is to the wire between these guys. Geez, I tell you, like this is just awesome racing, just fantastic quality from these guys.
Yeah.
And HSV absolutely deserves to be up there. You know, for Coach Dave Academy Racing, Captain Team Riggsy, doing a great job for his team.
So times filtering through 46 flat, 46.1 between these guys. So the difference is negligible right now between all these drivers. So they're going to battle it out for another lap as we're coming up to 2/3 race distance. So that second 20-minute segment has absolutely flown by, especially with the pit stops in there. We've had some great door-to-door action. And this is just one of the initiatives that was undertaken as well, to eliminate the 2 stops and make it a 1-stop to keep as much racing on the track. And as you can see, it is certainly working, and in particular, this little trio of cars right now, where Ty Morgo seems just pulled away slightly, and HSV has got a big battle on his hands, keeping Brenticles behind him in that Bentley. And in the meantime, out in front, we've kind of forgotten about the little scrap between Cameron Footner and Crashy Mate. Crashy Mate putting together a really solid race tonight. We've seen his qualifying pace, and he's finally converting it into race pace. He's currently P1. We've seen Cameron Footner make a little bit of a mistake a little while ago. He's having a look here. Yep. Oh,
Very conservative into there.
Oh, very. Track temperature down to 28 degrees as well. So I'm not sure if Crashy's done a full race practice before tonight. I know that Footner indicated that he hadn't, but if he's definitely set up for these temperatures, he's doing really well. Especially after that mistake, to close in like he has, that's a positive.
Footner was half a second faster on him than him on that lap too. So he's got the pace.
You were right too, Nick. You know, that call with the one pit stop, and that's one of the things I loved, that initiative that JJ took with feedback for the races. You know, with the driver poll and putting it out to the guys to have some feedback and opportunity to have some buy-in with what the races look like. And it certainly, I know for myself, I voted to have the one pit stop because you know it just bunched the racing up, and we've just got that. It's just absolutely shown, you know, that it works. And I think that from a spectacle, and the guys that are watching, you know, and they have been watching, if you haven't hit the like button, guys, yet, definitely do, please. If you can, just smash it. It's big thumbs up for the guys that are racing here tonight, and the commitment that they're showing, and the quality of racing on track has just been nothing but fantastic.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal, and we've been watching close battles for all the top positions as well, and we're looking at that as we speak for P1 and P2, and that's what you love to see. That's why we watch. We want to see the battles, but we want to see the battles for the lead. And yeah, definitely the One Stopper initiative is helping with that right now. So we've got less than 20 minutes to go in this one. Cameron Footner, was he getting a little bit loose through there as well? Might have noticed that rear end stepping out. What do you see, Jamie? What have you seen so far? Footner runs wide. Sorry there, Jamie, but what have you seen so far between these two?
I think the fallout from the pit stops is interesting. So as we've seen with Ty, he managed to leapfrog both HSV and Brenticles, albeit with a bit of door-to-door action on the way there. But he stayed out longer than those two and managed to jump them. And it brings us back to Crashy and Footner, and Vic made a good point in the chat why Cameron didn't do something different to Crashy. Had the opportunity to make him think. And so now he's back pressuring him, but he's waiting on a mistake because it doesn't look like the Bentley has the top end speed.
Yeah, that was. I did see that in the chat as well. So we'll see what repercussions that has to play out. HSV looks like he's just crept away from Brenticles, so doesn't have that pressure from behind, but he's certainly got Ty Morgo in his sights in front of him. So that's for the final podium position. He'll be looking to take 2 podiums in a row to start his season off, which would be a great start for him and the Coach Dave Academy. But the P&L driver, Ty Morgo, is going to make it extremely difficult for him. But HSV just having a little bit of a look here. But I think this one's going to go down to the wire. We've got some great close battles through most of the top 10. Here's HSV having a look, and Crashy Mate responded to that on that last lap. He was half a second faster than Footner as well, who obviously made that little mistake too. So just going a little bit tit for tat right now between those two.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And I think what's happening with Footner too, being in the Bentley versus the Audi, so the braking zone is bigger for the Bentley versus the Audi. And I've just seen a couple of times then where Footner's gone a little bit later on the brakes, and he's probably had a few hairy moments when he's closed in quite quickly on Crashy, and just maybe not turn in as early as he would like to have done. So that's probably playing a little bit of a part into his lap times being bigger than they need to be. But also just watching these 3 guys with Ty, HSV and Brenticles. So one of the things that Jamie spoke about before, when you are tailing someone, you've definitely got the aero wash factor. The other thing that you've got that plays in as well is that when you've got a car like a Bentley in front of you, it's really hard to spot your brake markers and your racing line. And I've just noticed HSV on a couple of occasions, especially coming up through turn 9, that right-hander where, he's probably gone a little bit too wide. So for him to maintain that closeness behind Ty Morgo, like I predicted with Rigsy, you've got to be really, really careful with the track limit. So I have no doubts that he's probably got a few in the bank so far, and would be very, very careful as to what that looks like going forwards. But super, super tough driving in behind someone like that. Yeah. And just try and get the perfect racing line as well.
Well, what about you, Jamie? How do you handle that sort of situation?
Yeah, I think just trying to be as nice and smooth as possible, and if you're not fighting the car too much, you can try and drive through a little bit of the aero wash. In fact, I've just seen K-Man become a victim to that very thing as I've been following him and Kraken on track. Having practice in the aero wash of other drivers is very critical, I think, because that way when you're in the heat of the battle, you know a little bit how the car's going to react. Footnote coming up on Crashy.
Yeah, here we go.
Made a mistake too.
This is Footner, made a lot of ground up, and yeah, so as you pointed out, Adman, HSV's lost that position, but he's fighting back hard for it though, as they hit the brakes to go into turn 1. Once again, it's door to door between these two. We've seen that a bit already. They go side by side. Oh, he gets a bit loose on the exit of turn 2. Is that going to be enough there for Brenticles to try and hold this position? They've got a Selby Acoustics Racing, I think it was a McLaren, I think might be White Shadow there. So he's not involved with this battle between these two. But HSV manages to keep Brenticles behind him for now. But how long can that last? And he's now going to start to have to think about, can he hold on for fourth, let alone snatch a podium position from Ty Morgo, as Brenticles is going to push him all the way to the very end. And we had the scrap between Footner and Crashy Mate starting to heat up again as well.
Oh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know where to look, Nick. It's absolutely nuts, and I'm probably like you, Jamie, just scrambling all over the place at the moment, looking at different packs and close racing. But, you know, these guys with between Crashy and Footner have been like this for nearly the whole race so far. Is amazing in itself, and you know the other guys, Ty Morgo, HSV and Brenticles, to be in the positions that they have and fighting for position is just crazy. But I don't know what Cameron's thinking right now. I know he's right on the back of Crashy, coming down the front straight as they go over the start-finish line. It will be interesting. I just wondered, like, Crashy's just moving to the middle of the track, and Cameron is putting himself there, but he's not.
Oh, no!
Definitely gone in hot.
Yeah.
He's still got 12 minutes and 50 seconds to recoup and regather himself and catch up. So that's not all lost yet, but that's the difference between the braking of the Audi and the Bentley. The Bentley just doesn't have the performance, and Gaz has got to drive through. Track limits.
Yep. So he was having a nice battle there with him and Sadudes for P6 and P7. So that's probably the worst time to get a drive-through penalty in the last 12 and a half minutes of this one. So that's essentially ruined his race for him. But that was a big move by Footner. He sent that one. He was lucky to pull that up as well. That could have taken both him and Crashy Mate out. That would have been a real disaster. So we have seen that from Footner in the past, where he's sort of tried to pull off some ambitious moves, and we know that he's definitely not shy in sending it. And I think that was a pretty good example there. So that one did come off, thankfully, that both cars are on track facing the right way. We'll see if it's going to be a repeat of that on this lap. And there's only a tenth the difference between in lap times that last time around. So these guys started to lap very, very similar times between each other. I think it's going to be a straight race, straight shootout for the last 11 and a half minutes of this one. It should be good. Should be a good ending.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, mate. And, you know, even with the mistakes that Cameron's making, he just quickly makes it back up onto the back of Crashy, but he just can't capitalise and get past him. It just, you know, looking at the track temperature now being 26 degrees with an ambient temperature of 22. So, you know, right now these guys will be looking at their tyre temperatures and thinking, okay, maybe changing brake bias a little bit to try and generate some more heat, possibly in the rear tyres. That's what I would probably do if I wasn't set up quite properly for the track temperature. But you know, there's an opportunity here where you can start to play with your traction control, your brake bias, just try and gain a little bit more performance from a braking perspective, especially for the Bentley, and this is where you can close in a little bit more. If you can straight line brake it and make the other driver in front go defensive, there's always that opportunity where you can make a clean pass still.
All right. Oh, 333 has a drive-through cleared. Yep, so that was one of the Bruce Hale Racing. That was Gaz. And Footner is certainly not giving up on this one. Crashy Mate's got 10 minutes and 20 seconds in between him and taking out a maiden victory for in his maiden victory in Ruse, Race on Oz. We'll see how this transpires, but he's driven a great race. He's definitely soaked up a lot of pressure from Cameron Footner, who's been all over the back of the Audi, but he's absorbed it all and been able to push on. He's got another 10 minutes of doing that between him and victory. So we'll have to wait to see how this one pans out. Cameron Footner pushing extremely hard right now as they make their way through 14, 15. The left-hander is 16 onto the front straight. Let's see if he can wind that Bentley up. Tuck into a slipstream here. Crashy Mate doing his best to break it. Just weaving all legally up the front straight there. And I don't think it's going to be enough for Cameron Footner to make a move from there.
No, it doesn't look like it, Nick, and I reckon that Burradog's probably sitting at work right now. He's only put a couple of comments on through the chat, but I reckon he'd be quite nervous for his teammate Crashy to pull off a win for Team GRT. And I think that I heard something along the lines of Burradog's incentivise some of his drivers. If they get a first position, they get a $50 Bunnings voucher. So
there we go. Look at that.
Good on Burradog for doing that for his team.
I don't know if that's real or if you've just dropped Burradog into it. So either way, good work. It's a nice little incentive dangling right there. So 8.5 minutes left. This is the battle for the lead. This is how they've been through the majority of this race. The rest of the field still relatively all sort of strung out. So we can focus on these two. Cameron Footner! That is a big move!
It's gone way deep.
Yeah, he went over the marbles as well. So
that's sensible though by Crashy. He saw that happening and he's just kept to his braking zone and allowed Cameron to come up the inside and watched him drive past and through the corner where Crashy's just stuck to his racing line and then driven back in front. So that's a really good effort by him.
And we've got confirmation, Adman. It's indeed not a $50 gift voucher. It's $100 cold hard cash. So
wow,
even better.
Sign me up, Burradog.
Here we go. Well, this is the man you said you bleed green. Is that money green? Perhaps. You get a blood transfusion for the right price. As Footnote just having a bit of a weave along the front straight there. Do you think the frustration might be building? We've seen two pretty big lunges. We're in the last 7.5 minutes of this one. Can we... I'm just... Fingers crossed we don't see anything untoward happen between these drivers and the closing of this one.
Well, look, you definitely don't want to see drivers like this, you know, that race so closely together for the whole race come together and actually take each other out. But, you know, there's also an opportunity where Cameron, you know, he's done these couple of moves and I'm just watching him now. He's exit corners. There's just the slightest little bit of oversteer, which would be, you know, distracting him as well. But you know, there's an opportunity where he knows that he can get a run on him, especially coming down to this next corner. Go on the inside, get on the brakes just a little bit early, push him out there and, you know, take the corner and hopefully make the pass. And I think that Cameron is definitely skilled enough to do that without actually, you know, seeing what we saw before between HSV and Time Orgo where there's rubbing. I know rubbing's racing, but these two guys have been professional so far, and I think that they will continue to do that right to the finish line.
Yeah, well, that finish line is not far away now. Oh, Footnote runs a little bit deep again, so he's throwing absolutely everything at it, and everything that he's got, Crashy Mate's able to take and just say, I can take it. And they got probably another 3 laps left, I'd say, in this one, maybe 4, a 46.1 from Cameron Footner that time around. Ty Morgan did a 45.5, so just the more he sort of pushes it hard though, the more prone he becomes to making mistakes. What are we... Oh, 336! Oh, it's a drive-through penalty! Oh, no! So, that's 336, Cameron Footner. That is an absolute disaster, so perhaps just that pushing too hard has caused the track limits violation, and that is going to send Ty Morgo up into P2, HSV up into P3, and 297 gets a drive-through penalty as well. That's cracking. That's a disaster for him. He's had a great race. He started in P16, was running great in P9, so that's a horrible result for him and Cameron Footner as well. So that's massive repercussions at the front of the field. HSV, though, he climbs up into a podium position, and Crashy Mate, this is manna from heaven for him. This is exactly what, not what he wanted. He wouldn't have wished anything untoward, but this is going to be a massive sigh of relief from him because he knows he's not going to have Cameron Footner pushing him all the way to the end. He just needs to keep it facing the right way on the black stuff, and we should see a first race victory from Crashy Mate to take this through to round 2. He makes a bit of a mistake there through the final part of the lap. just as a little bit more drama, but Cameron Footner, he makes his stop. He's going to serve that drive-through penalty, and he will be fuming under that helmet, Adman.
Oh, you will, mate. I noticed just before that alert come up too that he had a little bit of a unsettled moment, and then it appeared that we sort of backed off slightly, and I nearly said it too. I thought, I wonder if he's got a third track warning. He might just concede the fact that he's going to stick with second position, then all of a sudden that popped up. So yeah, he will be steaming under there. But you know what though, Crashy has done the right thing. You know, he's gone into the pressure cooker, he's been turned around, he's been turned upside down, and he's come out of the pressure cooker unscathed, and he's doing a really good job. But you know, Cameron will be dirty on himself, but this is the pressure that this track puts on the races, is to push, and when you are behind someone, you don't hit your markers like you always do, and you run that risk of running track limits. Yeah, and it's
Bitten him pretty hard here. So that means, though, one man's loss is another man's gain. And the man who's gained the most from that is Crashy Mate. He's going to have pretty much an unchallenged last couple of laps to finish off this one, round two, and take out his maiden victory. Ty Morgo, once again, he's going to finish on the podium as it stands at this stage with 3 minutes left, barring any unforeseen incident. And HSV, another deserved podium for him. That's how it stands right now. Field is relatively spread out. We're on board with K-Man. He's having a look at Kraken, who has that drive-through penalty still to serve for him. So he's had a great drive, a newcomer to the league. I have seen him race in other leagues before, so good to see him with a positive result. And he's going to have to serve that drive-through, though, so that's going to put a big dent in his race. And this man here, Riggsy, would have had pretty high expectations, but kind of just didn't get going for him right from the get-go, did it, boys?
Yeah, not after that altercation with Footner at turn 1 into turn 2. You know, and that's one of the things, you know, when we look at the way we race, in whether it's Pro-Am, whatever it might be, gold or silver, you know, remembering that 60 minutes is a long race, so a race can be won and lost within the first couple of corners, and it's about being sensible and being pragmatic in your approach to, you know, what am I looking for in terms of our overall outcome? Am I looking to get a race win at all costs, or am I looking to get a top 5 position and just being a little bit safe at the same time?
Another drive through.
Yeah.
Rookie.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of them coming through late in here, and Kraken, he's going to continue on. Oh no, he's gone into the pit. So nice work from him. It's a tough pill to swallow when you're this close to home. 90 seconds away, he's having to serve a drive-through penalty, but I think that'll put him in good stead. And I think someone else in the chat said this will be good for future races for Crashy Mate as well. I think that monkey might have been grown into a bit of a gorilla at this stage. Here's Riggsy having a look at K-Man. They're going to have a little bit of fun in the final stages of this one in P9 and P10, but I think this will be good for Crashy Mate. Just get that win off the mark and get a good result as 297 clears his drive-through penalty. That's cracking. And yeah, as we've started to point out regularly, that good qualifying result, but couldn't quite turn it into a race win. But tonight he's looking to rectify that. He's very, very close to doing just that.
Oh, and well deserved too, you know, like we've indicated through the race, very well handled. He's just driven to his line. He hasn't done anything silly at all, and you know, that dive that Cameron took on him there at turn 10, I mean, he was all over that. He watched him go through, he turned in, he knew exactly where he was, and he continued on his way. So, you know, I mean, Crashy's been popping up all over the place with regards to, you know, good performances. He just needed to bag one, and that's what he's doing tonight.
Yep.
And this will certainly instill some confidence in him going forwards.
Tyres had a big moment. And
Oh!
HSV's through.
Yeah, there it is. We just caught the very tail end. Great spot, Jamie. So Ty Morgan and HSV, they swap spots. So the what goes around comes around for HSV.
Yep.
He may have lost the battle, but he certainly won the war right now as we speak. 622. He has gone. What's happened there with Lukey? Has he served it? Something came up for it. Never mind anyway, but this is what we want to see on the track. We're on the last lap. We had the notification just before. So Crashy Mate is about half a lap away from taking his maiden victory in Ruse, and HSV has climbed up onto the second step of the podium. So he's got about a half a lap as well to go to hold off Ty Morgo in the closing stages of this one. We'll stick with this battle for a little while longer before we pick up Crashy Mate to cross the line. And he's about to just come through turn 13, I think it is, the right-hander. Here he is. So through the chicane complex one final time tonight. Congratulations, Crashy Mate, the man who could qualify great but couldn't put it together in the race. He's finally done both, so he takes it from pole position to the checkered flag. Congratulations for Gamesman Racing Team. He takes P1. HSV will be pretty happy with that. P2, Ty Morgo for Pagnia Next Level. He comes home in P3. Here's Brenticles coming home in 4th position. Nice drive from him. Cameron Footner, after challenging for the lead for the majority of this race and surfing that late drive-through penalty, he's going to come home 5th for Bruce Hull Racing as he comes through the final turn now. So he'll be disappointed with that result, but that's racing. Here's Gaza, his teammate. He comes home in a very solid 6th position. He started in 8th. He had some good scraps throughout there. So nice result for him and nice team result for BHR as well as he takes the checkered flag. Sadudes is going to serve his penalty. Here comes someone awesome. Thought he might have contended a little bit higher tonight, but he comes home in P8. His teammate K-Man's going to hold off Riggsy for P9. Riggsy will finish P10. Christoph, he's going to come home in 11th, but it's been all about this man tonight. Congratulations to Crashy Mate. He's taken his maiden victory in Ruse. Well done. That was a good effort from him, boys. What are your thoughts?
Oh, look, I'm absolutely wrapped for him. I'm looking at the commentary that's coming through from his teammates and some of the guys that aren't his teammates. He's certainly got a big fan base out there, and I think that it's well deserved and been a long time coming for him. So really happy that he's been able to put it on the first step there, and you know, just well deserved.
Yeah, the comments are coming through thick and fast. Cermic Squid, Jambon Sickle, Barra, Stuart Barkley as well. Fiona giving her congratulations, Fly. So a lot of strong support there for Crashy Mate. But that's the final results for round 2. This is the PS4 Division Season 6. Crashy Mate, HSV, Ty Morgo. That is your podium. We'll see if we can get them in the chat shortly. Jamie's going to work on that. Just go through the rest of the standings. Brenchicles and Footner in 4th and 5th. Then Gaza, Someone Awesome, K-Man, Riggsy and Christoph. That's your top 10. Kraken comes home in P11, so good to see him get a good result even after the drive-through penalty. Stanhouse as well. I think he might have been the highest of the silver drivers, perhaps. Jamie, you'll have to clarify that for me. Sadudes after his penalty. White Shadow, Team Little Bear. Nice result for Team Little Bear. Sparky God, Eagle Wind, Aaron, Familiar, and Psycho Agency. I think Eagle Wind called it quits pretty early, and Sparky God had some technical issues as well. But that is round 2 done of Season 6. We'll see if we can get the post-race interviews sorted out here for you shortly, but I think it's a bit of a fan favourite tonight for Crashy taking home victory.
Yeah, nah, can't believe it. I think it's watch this space. This guy's obviously ready to, you know, the bubble's burst now, so he's just going to continue to capitalise. And I just love the fact that he was able to take it up to Cameron for the, you know, 95% of the race, and unfortunately that Cameron got that the drive-through. But wow, what an exciting time! We've got 3 more rounds to go after this, and I think it's going to be down to the wire.
Yeah, it's looking so. It's a good championship so far. HSV will be quite happy with his work in there, and Ty Morgo as well. So I think we've got a few guys filtering in. I'll hand it over to you two to take us through the post-race interviews.
Thank you, mate. Who we got? Ty there, is it?
Yeah, I'm here.
G'day, mate. How you going?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, so we just noticed that you had a little bit of a whoopsie there towards the end, mate. Just let HSV back in.
I did. I don't know what. I don't know how many times went around there and never happened, and then it had to happen on the last lap.
And what about the?
I don't know how I held it, so
yeah.
lucky to get third in the end.
Did you find the maybe the track temperature dropping dramatically like it did that contributed to any of that?
Nah, my tyres were good. I adjusted them right, so yeah, just maybe wear. It's pretty.
Yep.
Yeah, the wear on this track's pretty high up there. And quality, I think I had to have 2 runs. Just fourth lap they shot, so yeah, I think probably put it down to that.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, certainly after your pit stop, mate, you definitely come out like Arnold Schwarzenegger, so all muscled up and elbows out.
Both of us, yeah, me and HSV both.
Yeah, pretty pretty tight there.
Of turn 2, and then I thought, no, I'm going to throw it up the inside. Bit of tit for tat, but anyway, he ended up getting the biscuit, so.
He did, mate. Nah, congratulations. It's a really good outcome. So, good work.
Thank you.
HSV.
Hey lads, how you going?
Good, mate. It seems to be a reoccurring conversation that we're having. You're up in P2 there. Well done.
Yeah, got a bit lucky. It was a bit hairy coming out of the pits on I don't know when, but yeah, I kind of knocked Ty and then he knocked me, and then I made a mistake, and then he made a mistake, and here I am. So yeah, well done to Crashy. It's been a long time waiting, which is good. So no, it's good to be back.
Yeah, no, and we're glad to see you up there too, mate. It's a really good effort. You know, and as Nick was saying too, you know, in terms of overall outcome, everyone's driven a really good race tonight and, you know, performed very well. And, you know, it comes down to consistency, you know, and that showed with your position tonight too. So well done, mate.
Cheers, appreciate it.
Not a drama. We'll see you next round, yeah?
100%.
Awesome. Take care.
You too, buddy.
Crashy, you there, buddy?
I'm not sure if he's managed to join us, unfortunately. I'm trying to raise him by any means possible.
Oh, Crashy, if you can get in the party, that would be great. We want to talk to you. But
I can find him.
yeah, Ty Morgo sounded a little bit deflated there at the end. Oh, here we go. I think we got him.
Here he is, the man of the moment. How you feeling, buddy?
Going on, boys.
Yeah, you did a great job tonight. Well done.
Cheers. Sorry, I didn't know you did these things after the race. So a bit late in.
Yeah, that's okay. We've got a check here for $1,500 as well. We would have given it to you, but we couldn't get you on soon enough, so I've had to park that one.
Just give it to someone less fortunate.
Hey, just talk us through. So, you know, first round at Kyalami, and unfortunately, you know, before the race started, we sort of called you and Gaz had been in the Audi that you know, potentially could have some unsettled moments over the curbing, and that occurred, and we didn't do that tonight. We left that conversation alone. But just talk us through the race where you've literally had Cameron Footner up your backside for 95% of the race, and the pressure that was put on you, and how you handled that.
Honestly, Footner's a pretty good driver, so it's like you're not worried about him hitting you up the arse or anything like that, because 90% of the difficult with anyone being behind you is like having to watch them all the time, to make sure that you're not trying to avoid something, whereas with Footner it's very unlikely that's going to happen. So second half of the race was a bit of a different kettle of fish, so I buggered me temps, so I was at 26.4 to 26.9 the whole second half of the race, and about 15 minutes to go the tyre just went off completely. And if Footner didn't get that DT, I reckon he probably rammed me.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, just from our perspective. And look, he could well have done, but, you know, he tried his heart out, and you could see that every time he made a mistake, he'd certainly drop some tenths to you, but then would catch it up quite quickly. But then couldn't capitalise on making a clean pass either. So I think you probably had him covered there, mate. But yeah, interesting through the chat and the commentary. So make sure you jump on and watch the commentary after you settle down and have a beer. But what we saw was Cameron that close to you, you know, coming in hot under brakes. The difference between the performance of the Audi versus the Bentley, you know, the way that you handled that whole situation was 100% just A1, mate. So congratulations on your win tonight. You've got a lot of people in the comments that's been made on YouTube that have, you know, very happy for your first win. So you've got a fairly big fan base in there, including ourselves. So we're over the moon that you've got your win. And I think that this is the cork of the bottle that's now been released, and you'll be off and running.
Yeah, well, I think there was some money lost tonight too, boys. I think it was going $1.10 for me to crash. So,
Well, you've gained that back anyway. You've got that back anyway, mate, because Barradog's giving you a $100 cash prize for coming first. And there's evidence of that through the chat. So when you find it, just take a photo of it and a screenshot it and send it to him with your bank details.
Mate, I reckon he's got the gift of the gab. The old fella will probably talk his way around to me owing him $100 more than likely.
Probably. Nah, well done tonight, mate. It was awesome to watch. Jamie, have you got anything that you want to add to the comments with Crashy?
I was just interesting on your point with the tyres. So, did you have a big drop off in those last 10 minutes, like below 26s, or?
No, so it was straight out of the pits. But I didn't notice because the first few laps, obviously with the slightly lower temps, oh, not the first two out of the pits, but after that with the slightly lower temps were a bit grippier, so they felt fine. And then all of a sudden, with about 15 minutes to go, they just dropped right off. And I looked down at the temps, and I must have done them by, like, I must have been a whole PSI lower than I should have been.
Oh, it's a great effort regardless, because as Adam was saying, having Cameron Footner on your rear, such a quick driver, and you've got the low pressures going on, that's a difficult situation. So well done.
Cheers. Thanks, boys.
Yeah. Well, no dramas, mate. We'll see you at the next round.
Commentating too.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Appreciate that. Good feedback.
Right, boys, I'm going to get some sleep. Thanking you.
Same, mate. All right, so great stuff. Great post-race interviews from both of you two as well. So excellent work. So that pretty much concludes proceedings tonight. I think that was a very, very entertaining race. Big congratulations to Crashy Mate as well for taking out his maiden victory. HSV getting up on the podium again, and Ty Morgo. So we are going to do it all again in a couple of weeks. We are off to... Where are we off to? Do we know where the next round is? I haven't checked.
Silverstone, I think.
Silverstone. There you go, Silverstone. So that'd be... well, that's a bit of a favourite for me. I like that circuit. So a nice, fast, free-flowing one again. So, gents, thank you again for this evening. I thought it went pretty well, and seems to be the general feedback in the stream as well from everyone in the comments. So thanks to everyone for watching as well. We appreciate all your input as well. Glad to have you with us again. I saw, thanks for Where It's So Easy. I don't know what your real name, but you helped clear up the audio issues. Saint Sim Racing, Sparky, Barradog, Arrow's in there, Fiona was in there, Stu, Jambon Sickle, Sir McSquid, Fly was in there, anyone else that I've missed out. Thank you very much. Pesky was in there as well. So thanks to everyone for watching. Really appreciate your support. We'll see you all again in a couple of weeks. My name is Nick. I've been joined by the one and only Adman and Jamie. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.